So SteamOS is finally 100% compatible with the Lenovo Legion Go, which means the left and right Legion space buttons work with SteamOS now, as well as the power button, which means you can play games like Returnal on the Legion Go powered by the Z1 Extreme chip. And I'm just making this video to simply point out that Returnal is actually extremely playable on the Lenovo Legion Go using SteamOS. On Windows 11, it has a lot of stuttering and isn't very playable on that operating system, in my opinion. And I've been wanting to play this game in handheld for a couple of years now, but it's really nice to see a game like Returnal finally make its way to a capable handheld with a great operating system like SteamOS. And as you can see, Returnal is at 900p with the graphic settings set to mostly low. But of course, I had to put the texture quality to medium. And so far, I started Returnal on the Legion Go and I've been having a great time with it. It ranges around 30 to 40 FPS at times, and in certain locations, it even reaches 50. There are still the occasional stutters in this game, so don't expect to have an absolutely perfect time with it, but Returnal has never been more playable than on the Legion Go using SteamOS. And if you don't have a TDP plugin for SteamOS with the Legion Go, then you can access the different TDP modes by holding down the left Legion space button and pressing Y. And as you see, it's in power saver mode right now. Then it jumps up to 40 FPS in performance mode, and I'm pretty certain the third input is 30 watt mode. But yes, Returnal has been a long time coming for handheld enthusiasts like me that just want to get their hands on this game on the go so they continue to die and die and die wherever they want. But it's probably going to be a very long time until we see handhelds like the Nintendo Switch 2 with games like Returnal. I'm sure we will eventually see it since games like Persona 5 have debuted on the Nintendo Switch 1, but it's awesome to see this game years before it debuts on mainstream devices like the Nintendo Switch 2 on something like the Legion Go. And I love everything about this game, including its physics. As you can see, there is no lagging or any kind of stuttering when the physics are set to a maximum situation like destroying a statue and it falling into thousands of little tiny pieces. The Z1 Extreme is handling Returnal very well, surprisingly well, and since it's had a few years to be optimized properly for handhelds, it's not entirely surprising that this game works very well. I've tried Returnal recently on my Steam Deck OLED, and it still has the same issues with stuttering and crashing. It's crashed 3 times in 10 minutes. But yes, this game works very well with the Legion Go, especially since it has faster RAM, so it can load areas a lot quicker, and in between every action, there is a lot faster reaction time with the hardware, thanks to the faster RAM. And the FPS right now is hovering around 45 to 55, which is fantastic. Well, let's just access SteamOS real quick using the right Legion space button. And it's just as easy as that since we have full support with SteamOS on the Legion Go. But of course, when there is more enemies at 900p, this game kind of chugs. So if you really need the game to work properly, setting it to 800p is the best option. And now the game is running at 30 to 40 FPS on average. It still has its stutters here and there since more enemies are loading in, but I'm still having a lot better experience with this on the Legion Go than on something like the Steam Deck. And even the ROG Ally with Windows 11 has issues. I'm pretty sure if I played this game with SteamOS on the ROG Ally, it would be an amazing experience. Let's try to avoid these enemies here. Yeah, these enemies are very resilient, so you gotta watch your back. So yeah, if you wanted to check out Returnal and you have a Legion Go, installing SteamOS does help the experience a great deal, especially versus operating systems like Windows 11 that don't really pre-cache any games, so it compiles shaders on the fly. But it's nice to see Returnal at a high-stakes situation like this running at 35 to 40 FPS. A game like Returnal does have a lot of moving parts, so you will see the stutters here and there, even with SteamOS and a handheld as powerful as the Legion Go, but this is a far cry from what it used to be, especially since not all of the settings are set to low. So I'm going to set the TDP a little higher. The only bad side about having SteamOS on the Legion Go is the fact that you can't see the TDP and where it's at currently. So you're going to have to guess while pressing the left Legion space button and Y every time you switch the TDP. But as you saw, I was playing this at slightly lower TDP than it requires, and it was chugging a tiny bit. But it's just nice to have Returnal actually become playable, especially on a screen this beautiful. But yeah, guys, have you tried Returnal on the Legion Go using SteamOS? And if you haven't, I highly recommend it since this game is actually playable now on this operating system and this handheld. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a good one. Later.